ASA introduced the archery world to Camp Minden, Louisiana this weekend, and archers in the 4 pro classes did their best to tame these brand new courses. After 2 days of qualifying rounds, the dust has settled and the cream has risen to the top. The pro pressure point shoot-downs are all that's left to determine who climbs the podium and takes home the big checks. It's time to get the party started right now. All right, welcome everybody to the Bossier City Civic Center. We are here for the third leg of the 2022 ASA Tour. This is the Easton Hoyt Pro-Am. We're in Camp Minden, Louisiana there. You can see next up we're going to be at London, Kentucky in another month. Matthews Pro-Am, Metropolis, Illinois at the end of June, culminating with the Mackenzie Classic in Cullman, Alabama at the end of July. So a month ago, we were at Fort Benning, another military establishment in Russell County, Alabama. That was an excellent event. Let's take a look back how that went. Welcome to the Competition Archery Media Broadcast.
We're out here on a wide open hillside next to the river, and I promise you the wind will be a factor today.
The northern Alabama wind was gusty and swirling by the time Competition Archery Media turned on its cameras for the main event Saturday evening.
She's holding so good.
Yep.
Good 10.
Go for the 10. Why not?
4-7.
The first 2 shoot-downs went as expected, with Sharon Wallace cruising to victory in Women's Pro.
I really came in this weekend with a completely different game plan because I was tired of shooting low 8s, low 5s. I shot a lot of uppers, a lot of lowers, and if the upper was blocked, then I could shoot at the lower, so I became very versatile for this tournament, and it really helped me a lot.
Oh, did he get another one? Oh. No, he did get it. Wow.
When he's shooting like that, there's nothing you can do.
And Gillingham smashing 4 of 5 bonus rings to win the Senior Pro shoot-down by 26 points.
Just getting the yardage right to start with. It's momentum. I've always said the game is about momentum. For me personally, I mean, I have to develop that positive energy that just seems to feed on itself. It seems like when you judge yardage good, you start judging it better. You judge it bad, you start judging it worse, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's Mr. McCarthy.
And we want to emphasize, again, he is going for 7 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
When the Open Pro guys took the field, things got interesting. Leader Dan McCarthy was riding a 6-tournament winning streak that many believe is unmatched in ASA history. A 7th would further his legend.
So focused.
Center, dead center.
But Joseph Goza threatened to spoil the party with a 14 on the 5th arrow that gave him a 2-point lead over McCarthy ahead of the 6th and final shot.
Dan's been in this position so many times, I just feel like he's got to shoot the 14 here.
Yeah.
He's not protecting the podium. He's trying to win.
On that last shot, McCarthy crushed the 14 on the Wolfe, forcing Goza to match him to take the win.
Oh, he got it. Smoked it.
Goza's shot was just low, and McCarthy collected his incredible 7th win in a row.
I love that guy. He's the best guy I've ever met. As far as the heart goes, he's truly as honest and good of a person as you could be. I'm not going to give a tournament away, and I'm going to try to win it to the end. But I hate it. I was honestly pulling for him there at the end, hoping he'd do it because he's just awesome.
The known pro shoot-down quickly blew up with bonus rings hit and missed in the early rounds. Ahead of the 6th and final arrow, the race for first was neck and neck between the leader Dane Johnson and Justin Hanna, who was just 2 points back.
Well,
A 14 by Stefan Hansen launched him into contention,
boom.
Got it.
forcing Hanna to shoot at the same ring. His arrow was just a bit low for an 8, meaning Johnson only had to hit a 10 to take his 2nd ever win in the known pro class.
Boom, right in the middle.
Yep.
He did that, got a big hug from his dad, and before he could talk to the cam commentators, his mom was calling on the phone with congratulations from home.
Honestly, coming into this weekend, I didn't have the confidence, especially through like the first 10 targets. You know, I just needed to trust my process. I've been here before. Once I started trusting my shot, everything just started falling through its place.
What an event that was at Fort Benning, but we are here now in Bossier City Civic Center. Welcome everyone to the Competition Archery Media broadcast booth. I'm PJ Riley sitting alongside Nathan Brooks, Elite Pro here. And Nathan, we're inside here in the Civic Center, but we had different conditions this weekend out at Camp Minden.
Absolutely. You know, we had great weather. It was really windy, but inside that thick that cover that the woods provide, the wind was really not a factor, and you can see it from the scores that these guys shot this weekend.
And we should mention this is our first time at this whole facility here in the Civic Center. Out there at Camp Minden, the Louisiana National Guard runs that facility. You've been all over the country with the ASA. Give us your impressions of this new facility and venues we're at.
Yeah, well, anytime that you are going to a new venue, you often think that, okay, they've got so much work to accomplish in such a short time that you, as a shooter, you kind of think, okay, these ranges might be a little bit on the soft side because they've not been worked over year after year after year after year, where they've had so much effort put into them. But that wasn't the case. It was as long as the ranges typically are. The practice range was very, very difficult in the aspect of lighting. So it may have lacked in distance, but it had, all the challenges of what 3D archery brings, which is, the wind, the elements, the light, and when you don't have that aiming dot to shoot at,
right,
and you just have to pick a spot on a black animal that's a black 3D target that's out in the woods, it's so difficult at times to find the right spot. So this place is great, and moving forward, I think this place is going to be phenomenal because they have the resources behind it.
Yeah.
They got the help behind it. Obviously, it seems like the whole county was out here. If there was a county official, it seems like they were here. And so, and I'm really, really pleased to see that effort, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. Mike Tyrell, ASA president, actually, he's going to tell us a little bit more about all that work that was done here behind the scenes to get us ready for this weekend.
This is the Easton Hoyt Pro-Am. It's the third stop this year on the Delta McKenzie ASA Pro-Am Tour. And we are currently at Camp Minden, which is located near Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana. So we're in Louisiana, and we're really enjoying it so far.
Yep, that's a good shot, my guy.
As most of y'all know, we've been in Paris, Texas since 2008, and we eventually outgrew the facilities. And so we've been looking for another facility, another area within this geographic part of the country. And the Shreveport Sports Commission came to us and said that they would like to see if they could find a site. So for the last 2-3 years, we've been visiting different locations throughout this part of the country. And Camp Minden came on board as a potential player. And they have a site here on base that they were able to do a lot of improvements to, or start to do improvements to allow us to what we think is going to give us a great opportunity to have all the ranges we need, all the facilities we're going to need. We're within, I think, 25 minutes of 11,000 hotel rooms. We got casinos and everything else. So as far as a location for people to come in and not only enjoy the archery, but also enjoy the community, this hit all the boxes. The big challenge in these ranges is going to be the fact that it's dark. These are woods that haven't been touched with anything in years, and they're basically cutting holes in underbrush to get in there to put a target in. So it's going to be a really dark opportunity, particularly in the mornings, to try and judge these targets, particularly if you're in the open pro classes. So that's the biggest single change.
Shot top. Nice shot.
Well, Bossier City has a civic center, and we're going to go to Bossier City Civic Center, which is about 15 miles from here. We'll be indoors. It's very similar to the facility that we use in Foley, not quite as big, but it's similar to that. So we'll have everybody in chairs, we'll have the shoot down inside, we have everybody nice and comfortable. So it's going to be a great opportunity for the pros to make up some points because they will be indoors. So the wind that like we're experiencing right now won't be a factor at all. And we think we're going to see some really exciting stuff. I'm very hopeful that this site is eventually going to turn out to be a real crown jewel for us.
All right, Nathan, so we just saw Mike talking about all those conditions outside, off the table now for indoors here. But what is not off the table is what we're looking at right now. These archers are judging distance. Tell folks what that means.
Yeah, so you have to figure out, obviously, the distance to these targets, or this group does here. And every yard, particularly at the distances that they're shooting right here, will basically be about an inch in elevation change. So if you miss a target, say it's a 39-yard target and you shoot it for 40, you're probably going to shoot about an inch over it. Vice versa, you can shoot under it if you shoot it for 38. So it is very, very important that they get the yardage right. And then on top of that, what they have to deal with in here is just a change of lighting too.
Right.
So we see some changes there from time to time.
All right, well, we want to know about the scoring that the ASA uses, so let's go down to the third member of our team, Steve Anderson, the big cat. He's going to tell us how ASA scores.
Hey everyone, I'm Steve Anderson. I'm going to show you how we score one of these 3D targets on the Delta McKenzie ASA Pro-Am Tour. So starting from the bottom up, if you miss the animal, unfortunately that's 0 points. If you hit the animal, you're going to get at least 5. Now we're going to work up through the scoring rings here. This outermost scoring ring here in the vital area is going to be worth 8 points. If you're within that, you're at least 8 points. Then we're going to move to the 10 ring. So this 10 ring is inside this replaceable core. If you get with it, if you touch or are within that 10 ring, you're going to score 10 points. Now our standard 12 ring is going to be this lower 12 ring here. If archers choose to do so, they can aim at the upper 12 ring. If you see an archer with the cone placed in front of them, they are shooting for the upper 12 ring. If they choose to shoot at the upper 12, the lower 12 is out of play. This center 10 ring here, or the center ring within the 10 ring is simply for recreational purposes. We aren't going to be using it here today. And lastly, if archers want to play a little bit of risk reward, they can aim up here in the 8 sector at the 14 ring. Now, when they're taking that risk, if they miss that 14, if they miss it left or low, they're going to score an 8. If they miss it high or right, they take a risk of scoring a 5. So it is a big risk reward, and that's how we're going to score the targets today. Back to you, PJ.
All right, Steve, thanks for that breakdown. Hey, we want to get the action started here with the women's pro class. We'll be right back from Bossier City Civic Center. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Easton Hoyt Pro-Am. Nathan Brooks, we're looking at our women's pro leaderboard. Tell us what you see there.
Well, Sharon Wallace is coming in obviously at the top at 424. Looking at her 12 counts, she had 15 on the weekend, so that means she only fired 3/8, which is pretty impressive. Actually, it's crazy impressive. And then Kaylee Johnston at 414 with 11 12s. Obviously a solid round. Emily McCarthy at 408 and 8. Cara Kelly at 408 and 7. So they tied just, obviously Emily has the lead in 12 count, and Erin McGlattery at 399 and 10 12. So this ought to be pretty good race, at least for second and third. Sharon is in a pretty commanding lead there. So knowing what I know about Sharon, she's going to shoot solid.
All right, well, let's get the action started here. Let's bring out our women's pro archers.
So let's get this evening's women's pro shoot down started. And in 5th place, shooting for Hoyt from Marston, Saskatchewan, Canada. How about that? Erin McGlattery. Shooting for Matthews from Lapeer, Michigan, your 4th place qualifier, Cara Kelly. And in 3rd place, also shooting for Matthews from Wazeeka, Wisconsin, Emily McCarthy. And shooting for Matthews, your 2nd place qualifier from Dublin, Georgia, Kaylee Johnston. And in 1st place from Townville, South Carolina, Ms. Sharon Wallace.
All right, Nathan, so women's pro, as we were talking about, they were judging distance. This is what we call in the ASA an unknown distance class. Explain to the folks what that means.
Well, so some of these classes out here use a rangefinder to estimate the distance, but these gals are just using their eyeballs. And so they have to figure out that depth, just like if you were throwing a football from, from behind the line of scrimmage to 10 and out. They know how to throw that. From third base to first base, you learn how to do that too. And these women have learned how to judge yardage really well.
And, I mean, besides from the archery skill, I mean, that is an advanced skill in and of itself, because like you mentioned, if you're off by a yard, you're not going to hit that bonus ring you want.
It takes a ton of time and effort to get to the point where you can do it well. Erin McGlattery there from Canada actually got out of shooting for a year or so during the COVID pandemic, and she's come back and she's shooting super strong in the shoot off here.
That looks like a 10 line there. Real close.
Close. She doesn't have her cone out, so she's definitely shooting at that lower 12.
She's been dealing with snow and cold, and I mean, she is from way up there north.
Absolutely. Saskatchewan, Canada. It's obviously got some crazy weather this time of year too.
So first up, we are on the other end with Sharon Wallace, and she is on the Wolverine.
10 for Sharon
a
Wallace.
10 for Sharon. We know the distances. We'll get to that in the known distance. For now, we're not talking distances, but we can say that the Wolverine is, I believe, just about the farthest target out there.
Yeah, definitely it is the farthest one from my vantage point, what I see. And then we move into the second target here in the rotation, and that is a Wolfe, a Howling Wolfe. And Kaylee had actually called an upper, and she's awfully close to that, but I think she may have just missed it.
There's a 10 called by Scott Parrott. What we can tell folks at home is that in these divisions, 50 yards is the max. Now there's a little wiggle room on either side, so they can go out to 52, but that's going to be your maximum distance. They know it's not farther than that.
Now this particular shot here is the Black Panther, and if you notice, it is black. And It is hard to find an aiming spot on it. And she did not call the upper, so she did hit the upper 12, but she didn't call it. So 10 points for her.
408 and 7 bonus rings. She trails Emily by 1 bonus ring.
Here's the Hyena, which is one of our new targets this year, correct?
Yeah, we've had the Hyena in the past, and they decided to bring it back this year. And honestly, she got an 8 there. Honestly, it made me awful happy. I think it made a lot of people happy because they removed the tapir that we shot last year and put this one in its place. So.
And don't let folks fool you. The guys were honest. They got rid of the taper because it's the heaviest target. They didn't like carrying it 50 yards.
I don't blame them. When it's wet, it's really heavy.
So there we see one where it's cutting that line, real close to that line. We have some unique issues. These are foam targets. So the lines, it's not like a piece of paper where you just cut it. You can see she got a 10 there. So our judges felt like she was touching that line.
Yeah, and honestly, it can even pull that line and distort the line at times to where, your line is burned into the target, and so you have an inside edge and an outside edge, and that foam is soft, so it can pull that line. Sometimes, if it's only an 1/8 inch wide, it might pull it to a 1/4 inch wide and touch the arrow, and that's all it has to do is touch the arrow.
So our archers have rotated now. Erin McClattery is down at target 1. She was shooting 5 last time, so everyone shifts through because they're all going to shoot each target one time.
Erin is on the Wolverine, which again is probably the longest shot out here and the smallest target on top of that. So she's got definitely a difficult shot in front of her. We're looking at Cara Kelly right there, and she's no stranger to this. My gosh, this girl's won about everything there is to win.
She was our 2021 Women's Pro Shooter of the Year. She won Foley this year. She won the first tournament. Emily McCarthy had a killer year last year, won multiple events. Oh, I think this is a stacked house right here.
Oh, my gosh.
Ladies, these are 5 of the best that you're going to see.
Yeah, you see that shot there by Kaylee Johnston. As she shot that, I mean, I've watched her shoot for years, and she's just had that exact same form forever. The follow-through looks great. You can tell when she's made a good shot just because it's a staple for her. You know, that same exact form over and over.
Got an 8 for Erin there. That's going to move her to 417.
That's a tough shot on that Wolverine down there.
It's out there.
It is.
That's a long shot.
It's
Small
hard
target.
It's hard to aim on.
It's
really hard to aim on.
Sharon usually calls uppers. Okay, we're just verifying.
She had moved her cone off. I don't know why, but she had moved it off.
She did call upper. That's her new game. She's added that to her game. In the last 2 tournaments, you just can't catch Sharon Wallace. She is on fire.
Well, she has a wonderful shot as well. She's a great indoor shooter. She's a handful when it comes to shooting.
Yes.
And 10
for Kaylee.
Yeah, dead center 10.
Which here in ASA scoring, we kind of consider 10 to be par. That's what you're kind of expected to shoot. You don't gain ground, you don't lose ground.
Yeah, and on this group of ladies here, you're probably going to have to shoot some 12s if you want to make any moves here because they're not going to mess up too much.
10 for Emily, 428. Cara is on the deer is the second closest target.
Yeah, that is a new target for us this year as well. It's a feeding deer. And I can just tell you personally, it's a difficult target to judge for me at the moment, just for the simple fact that it's new and it has a different dynamic front to back than other targets we've had that looked like that in the past. We've had other feeding deer, and so it's just a change, and it obviously every little thing makes a difference when you're judging these targets because you have to be able to recognize the exact size of that target, and that helps you understand the depth when you're trying to judge the distance. So any little change like that it can be very challenging.
So what we're doing here, Nathan, is we're going to shoot 5 arrows for sure. If anyone is within 10 points of our leader, at the end of that, we'll go to a 6th arrow. Sharon came in with a 10-point lead and has expanded that to 12. So
yeah, and the other ladies at the moment have just basically not changed any positions. They've shot well, but we've just not seen any changes in scores.
I believe Cara did not call upper on that Wolverine. There's a 10 for Aaron on that Wolfe. Emily has not shot yet.
She's still got plenty of time, I think.
Yeah, they get a minute to shoot.
20 seconds left. No problem for Emily. Oh, yeah. I can't see if she called upper.
I think
she did. I think she got that one, too.
Yeah. All right, Cara Kelly shooting the Wolverine.
If she called upper, she might have that, but I don't know if she called it or not.
I think she did. Gets a 10. Yep, that's a 10.
Listen, a 10 on that Wolverine at that distance is fantastic.
Absolutely.
When you're trying to figure out how far it is and shoot a good score on it, it's a great shot.
I shot it a week ago or at the last tournament for a video. It was known distance, and I hit it in the leg. So, yeah. A 10 on that thing, I'll take that any day.
So, looking at the Wolfe there, and that
is Aaron. She's going to take a 10. Move her to 427.
She's going to need a few 12s if she's going to get back into this thing. Or actually, she's going to need some 14s here.
Yeah, Sharon called upper on this Panther, but I believe she did not get that. Oh, she got the lower. Wishing she...
Guarantee
a 10 for her is safe. All she needs to do is cruise.
Absolutely. And I guarantee you she was just holding in the center and hoping she had enough distance to get the 10. Worst case scenario, she has a little bit too much on it and it rises up into that 12. Like you said, she's just got to cruise. Hit cruise control for Sharon. The interesting thing is this, the third place race at the moment obviously is still tied up.
I believe she called up.
She did.
She's smiling big. I saw her smile over there. There we go. All right, so she just separated herself a little bit. Gave herself some breathing room in that third place slot.
You know, I study these shooters all the time, like really paying attention to equipment, things like that, because it always makes a difference. Each shooter has their own style and things they like. And, you know, I've watched Emily change lots of things over the years, and she has really come into her own, seems like this past couple of years.
Yes.
And I have not seen much changing in all that equipment because she's really found what worked for her.
Yep.
And I think she's you know, she switches back and forth from a hinge to a button a lot.
Yeah, she caught high on that Wolverine. That's going to be over. She's not going to like that. It's Kaylee Johnston. I always like to mention she works full-time as a nurse, so we know how busy they are these days. And yet here she is shooting with the best of the best.
And she's also one that hasn't changed. I bet she shot that same release, that same design release for a long, as long as I've known her, that's what she shot, is a 4-finger release with a thumb button. I don't know if it's the same one, but.
Right. All right, we're going down here to Emily on the Wolverine.
Looks like it's an 8, but sometimes camera angles can confuse you a little bit.
There's an 8 going by Scott Parrott.
Next up, Cara Kelly on the Wolfe.
So that's going to move. That was
448.
Emily. 448. All right, this is Cara on the Wolfe.
And she was going for 14 right there.
Yep, just straight under it.
That's going to be one of those she's probably regretting at the moment because Emily shot an 8 on the Wolfe.
Yes. A 10 would have helped her there.
But I think she probably fired her arrow before Emily shot hers, so she wouldn't have even known. Sharon's got a 10 on that black cat. Wait, no, I'm sorry. That was Aaron.
Coming
with the 10.
There we go.
10 on
to
the
Sharon.
hyena.
466 for Sharon. Now to Kaylee. It's on the wrong side of the 10 ring. It looks from here.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a little left.
Oh, there we go.
And just a touch high.
All right. All right, Nathan, we're going into the last one. Kaylee and Emily, well, I don't even know if Emily can do anything about it, but Kaylee has a chance to take this to a 6th arrow. But if things hold flat, we're not going to 6.
And this is the closest target outside of the Wolfe for Sharon. And so, you know, if she hits a 12.
Sharon just looked over here very confidently.
Yes. Yes, she did. She knows that all she's got to do is make one good shot right here.
Yeah. And she said she did not take any breaks this year. She shot all the indoor stuff, went right into 3D, and she said that's helped her strength. She's been able to, she didn't have to lower her poundage to do anything. She's felt strong. She's practiced hard, and it's paying off.
Oh, for sure. You see that big black pad that I could just call it out to the left side of her scope housing? That is somewhat of a blinder,
right,
to help the left eye not see past the scope housing. So it kind of helps her block that vision on the left side of the scope. Just straight left. Perfect high. Just straight left.
Kaylee, wow, she got it, and she called it.
Looky there. That's
going to do it. That's going to give her into the 6th arrow, and she'll be the only one. With Sharon,
nice.
of course.
I mean, just that's so impressive. So impressive. Great shot.
466 for Kaylee Johnston.
So Emily.
Next up we have Emily.
And Cara are close. She's a 10.
I believe that's, I don't know what Cara did.
Cara shot at a 12 on the next
one. We'll wait and see what Cara did first. But 56. So, yep, that's going to give Emily 3rd place. Cara's going to finish 4th, and Aaron will finish 5th.
So we will go to one final arrow here. What it looks like between Sharon and Kaylee.
10 point on the last arrow. There's not much you can hope for if you're the one behind.
No. I mean, just to be perfectly honest, I don't think she would want to win by something happening and Sharon shooting a 0.
For sure.
Just knowing the competitive nature of these girls and their friendships, I really doubt that.
We should say it has happened. I've seen it.
I definitely have as well. So you never know.
So as we mentioned, Emily is going to lock up third place with a 458. That's going to land her on the podium. Nathan, we should mention here, I mean, we're not shooting just for medals and plaques here. There's thousands of dollars on the line here.
Absolutely. You know, like you said before, Kaylee is a full-time nurse, and you know, there's money to be made out here, but obviously she's a nurse, and so she's not worried about this as her paycheck or not. She loves it because she loves it.
Right.
She's into archery because she loves it. She's doing this because she absolutely loves it. And that's great to see. And then you got Sharon on the other hand, who does archery full time.
Yeah.
So the paycheck means a little bit more to Sharon. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sell that short for Kaylee.
Right.
But the paycheck means a little bit more for Sharon than it does for Kaylee. And but I'll also say this, knowing Sharon and her husband Jack and how much effort and time and training they put into it, I would say no one is outworking her at the moment.
For sure. And so what they're doing now, Nathan, is they're judging. Our judges have put out a cone that they're going to shoot from. They moved them up in front of the line, maybe, I don't know, several. Well, the cone is out there next to Sharon. It's 4 or 5 yards in front of the shooting line. We know that. And we're waiting to hear which target they're going to shoot. Did they bring out the bless buck?
I don't think they brought anything out. Actually, I think they just changed the angle at which they're shooting. I think the Wolverine or
the hyena. We are told the hyena.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just kind of changed the angle of it, which will make it a little bit different view. It will make it a little easier. They should have an idea, a rough idea, on a distance. Now that they've fired some arrows in here, because what happens is after you shoot a few arrows. Okay, so I've come into these shoot-offs before numerous times, and you judge all the targets when it's time to judge. You write them all down on a piece of paper. You get to your very first target, and you shoot it, and you realize you shot 2 or 3 yards off.
Right.
I basically scrapped everything on my piece of paper and said everything's going to be 2 or 3 yards off, whichever direction you miss, and then just reshoot them with a different number.
So here comes Kaylee, and as we mentioned, with a 10-point deficit to Sharon, there's not much she can do here, but hey,
look,
how about that?
Heck yeah.
That's the most she could go for, so why not?
Absolutely. You know, the last shot was pretty incredible. She hit the upper 12 on that Wolverine, and she steps up here and just finishes it off with a 14 on that hyena.
Way to go, Kaylee.
Awesome shot.
Sharon enjoyed that as much as anybody. We've seen her do that as well in other tournaments. So there's the call from Scott Parrott down there. 14. Way to go, Kaylee.
Look at that smile.
So that's going to move. Mike Tyrell laying it out there that basically all Sharon has to do is hit the target.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where.
Nope, just foam. Foam wins it.
Now, usually the crowd in here, they'd like to see her shoot for that 14 as well.
Well,
it's not as safe as shooting center 10.
No, and you know, even if she does hit the animal for 5 points up there shooting at that 14, I just got a feeling she's going to center mass this thing.
I think so.
So steady.
Take the win right there.
Right in the center of the 10 ring. Yep.
No need to gamble there.
Wow. Back to back.
Back to back for Sharon Wallace. Yes, absolutely. There's her husband Jack coming out there, of course. Got to let the wife know she did well.
Absolutely. That's just awesome.
There's the official call from Scott Parrott there. We got a 10. We're going to get Sharon over here. We're going to get a couple words from her. She makes her way over to the booth. There you see the final results there. Sharon Wallace first, Kaylee Johnston second, Emily McCarthy third, Cara Kelly in fourth, and Erin McLattery in fifth.
Pretty
so
good
that's a good finish.
Yeah,
Sharon
absolutely.
just did a sprint down there to get her arrow as she makes her way over to put on the headset, and there she is, Sharon Wallace, 2 in a row. Tell us about that.
I'm speechless. I'm just to win one against these girls is hard enough. And this weekend, a lot of people know we lost a dear friend, Connie Clifton, on off season, and we set up a bucket for her, for people to put arrows in and just say something to say goodbye. And this is the arrow that I shot all weekend, and I shot the best score of my life. So this one's dedicated to her. Miss her like crazy. Sponsors, everybody, and of course my husband Jack. He just always makes sure my stuff is good and works perfectly for me and pushes me to be the best that I can. So this one was emotional for me, for sure.
Well, Sharon, I personally had a great relationship with Connie, and I love her so much, and that means so much to so many people out here that you would do that in memory of her. And man, fantastic shooting, 2 in a row. Wow, congratulations!
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Big leads coming in there, Sharon. Congratulations, you earned it. Awesome shoot down.
Thanks again.
All right. What a great way to finish that, but we are not done yet. We're going to come back here with our Senior Pro shoot down. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Shot about as many 12s as 8s. One of them days.
Upper. Those are the ones you miss. You just want to helicopter your bow at it.
Upper.
Oh, God, the bottom fell out of that.
That's one where your confidence can get you.
Got the lower.
Lower.
I was just kidding about that.
Yeah, you're just joking.
Got a chance on top, don't I?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Bossier City Civic Center. Senior Pro is our next division up, and Nathan, take a look at those scores.
Wow, Bill Mccall at 420 and 14 12s. Jeff Hopkins also tied there at 420 and 13 12s. Both of those guys have been around a long time shooting. Jamie Druliard here at 416. Now, this is his first pro shoot-off. He has been doing this a long time, runs an archery shop in Michigan. The guy knows archery really, really well, and so glad to see him actually make his first shoot-off here. And then Scott Darnell at 416 also. Scott is an archery rep for Prime and G5 products. He's obviously done archery a long time. 416 score, obviously he got some game. And Tim Gillingham, who we all know really well, no stranger to, at 415. So looks solid.
All right, let's get the action underway. Let's bring out our archers.
For the Senior Pro Shoot-Off, let's get started. Your 5th place qualifier, shooting for Bowtech from Provo, Utah, Tim Gillingham. Your 4th place qualifier, shooting for Prime from Bismarck, Arkansas, Scott Darnell. Shooting for Matthews and Adams Archery, in 3rd place from Tecumseh, Michigan, Jamie Druliard. And in 2nd place, shooting for Martin Archery from Lacona, Iowa, Mr. Jeff Hopkins. And your 1st place qualifier, shooting for Martin Archery from Mill Spring, North Carolina, Bill Mccall.
All right, Nathan, Scott Darnell with the fans in the house here, being from Arkansas, not too far away.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is another one of our unknown distance classes, so they're going to be judging. And they would have been watching the ladies shoot, give them a little bit of sense. Jamie Druliard, let's talk about him a little bit there. So Nathan, what's that like now, coming out for your first time being out here on the floor?
It's exciting. Honestly, I know my first event that I ever made as a pro, it was like all the pressure had been lifted because I made the shoot off.
Oh, okay.
So this is the fun part. And I know everybody processes that a little bit different, but for me, this is the fun part. Really no pressure. It's just about shooting now and having some fun. And, you know, worst case you can do is 5th, you know, when you look at it there, you know, from the top to bottom, worst place you can do is 5th. So, and we're going to see some bonus rings hit. We've already
That was Scott Darnell on that hyena. He center punched that.
Yeah, smoked it.
Tim Gillingham let down. 30 seconds on the clock.
I'll tell you what you're going to expect, or what you can expect from Tim right now. Attempts at 14 rings.
5th place. He's got nothing to lose.
Absolutely not.
Shoot at them all.
20 seconds left here on the clock, which is nothing for Tim. He can probably shoot 5 arrows in 20 seconds.
Yes, he does have that crazy stabilizer setup that we've seen, where he's running 4 stabilizers. We usually don't see that.
That was really interesting right there. I mean, It looked like he shot just straight left to the 12. I don't know what he was struggling with there, but something wasn't quite right because I know he was going to shoot at 14.
Right. Here's Bill Mccall. He did not call that upper, so that's a 10 for Bill McCall.
Billy has, obviously, as all these guys are senior pros, they've all been shooting for a long time. So let's get that out of there right off the beginning here. But I've shot with Bill for many, many years, and he's a very finesse shooter when you watch him shoot. He's really slow in his method and his movement, and really clean with the shot. Look at there, Jeff Hopkins. And then I've watched Jeff over the years, and he's the total opposite of that.
Exactly.
He pulls extremely hard on the bow, to the point where I wonder sometimes if he's going to break the limbs. He's pulling so hard. And just two different styles, both very successful shooting. So, to each their own when it comes to archery.
Jeff Hopkins had said he's not one to go for second place. He said, if you ain't first, you're last. So he's going to be gunning at everything. He's either going to win it all or he'll come in last. He doesn't care.
And Jamie's first target in his first pro-am or first pro shoot-off is a 10. Just barely missed the 12.
Take that.
Heck yeah. On a black Panther, it's really difficult to see. So
Scott Darnell, his yardage obviously is on point.
Scott and I, we're both from Arkansas. We're both actually sales reps, but we don't see each other that often, believe it or not. Don't get to shoot together that often. But I will say this, Scott is a fantastic shooter.
Yeah.
Knows archery inside and out.
Tim with that 10. Moves him to 425, so the only real movement there was, well, no, there was some movement. Jeff Hopkins, of course, he takes over.
Yeah, he'll be your
sole
new leader.
place, 432. Bill McCall in second, 430, and now Scott Darnell took sole possession of third place at 428.
I think we'll see a lot of range shot with these guys. And as I said before, I expect Tim to start shooting at some 14 rings. Something must have been off on that first one, as I was talking about before, that he let down. Maybe the lighting was off or he couldn't see something, because he rarely lays up on a shorter target.
You see that bow Jeff Hopkins is holding, it says Legend. That's a bow that he helped design.
Absolutely.
Martin Archery.
And he is a legend.
Absolutely.
Actually, he called me on his way down here, and we just talked about shooting. And one of the things he talked about was, he said, man, he said, you've shot with me a long time. He said, and you kind of do the same things. We have a big wreck on the range every once in a while. We'll shoot a ton of 12s, but then we have a big wreck. So he was going to shoot uppers this weekend, and looky there. He's right at the top.
Got it.
And I think maybe that is it. The big wreck is always the low arrow.
Right,
and
right.
So we talked about that before the shoot-off. He said, man, I didn't think that was possible for me to shoot all upper 12s.
Yeah.
Because that's just not Jeff. But obviously it worked. He did really well and saved him from the big wreck.
When you look at a lot of these targets, yes, that lower, there's not much. There's a 5 for Tim. Yeah, something's off there. But if you look at these targets on the scoring rings, like he's mentioned, the lower, it's very easy to get into an 8 and a 5 quickly. Versus the upper, there's more room there in that 8 ring on many of the targets. They're all different.
And the majority of misses are actually low.
Right.
Because of just gravity alone takes you down. So that's the majority of the misses. And the upper 12 has really become a new, kind of a new way that a lot of these guys are shooting. Obviously it's available, so they're really taking advantage of it.
So Bill McCall shot a 12 to go back to 442, but Jeff Hopkins also shot a 12.
Not to be outdone.
Maintains that 2-point lead.
So, again, knowing these guys, knowing that Jeff has his numbers right here, I don't expect him to miss hardly anything from this point out.
Right.
Because if he got his first one right, he'll get the rest of them right.
Second one right. Tim Gillingham has always said it seems like if you judge well, then you judge better.
Yes, that's exactly.
If you judge worse, then you judge even worse.
Yeah, you get more lost.
Yeah, and it looks like Tim's having some kind of issue out there. But there's Jamie. Oh, no, that was Scott
That was
Darnell,
Scott,
sorry.
And he just shot just right over that 12, coming off the 12 from the first arrow. Probably just a little bit strong on his number.
Yep, so we stay. Hopkins in the lead, 444. Bill McCall, 442. Scott Darnell, 438. Jamie shot an 8 on that last one, so he actually dropped 2 points there. 434.
So just looking at Jeff, this is a 11-time world champion, 10-time shooter of the year, 100+ national titles.
Insane.
I mean, that's wins, combination titles, everything.
Yeah.
Team titles.
He's won Vegas. He's just done it all.
Yeah, he has. So they properly named that bow the Legend.
And he's a farmer in Iowa to boot.
Absolutely.
That's why he's so big.
Well, now he's from Maryland.
You're right.
Or, I'm sorry, Delaware.
Yeah.
Looky there.
Look at that.
12 to
Got another one.
12 to another one.
And so Bill waited. He's
Watching to see what he would do. See that? You see the difference is he's slow. And just working the shot nice and easy. Pretty still.
Oh.
And he smoked
Got
12.
it.
Nice shot.
He says, all right, Jeff, I'm
So-
ready for you.
So, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the difference in watching the senior pro shooters shoot versus watching the women pro shooters shoot, I've not hardly seen any cones come out for upper. Now, I see one over there for Scott on that long
And he got it.
ring. Awesome. That's only the second 12 we've seen shot on that target,
Right.
too. But you don't see many of those cones coming out. You want to know why? Because these guys have shot for years, and when they started, all that was available was the low 12.
Gotcha.
So they learned target recognition and how to aim on the low 12s. And
Yeah.
that's why it's really hard for them to shoot at that upper, because they just don't have the target recognition.
There's Tim Gillingham doing what he does. He did
What's
call
that?
it a 14.
That's the Wolfe, right?
That is the Wolfe.
Look at that. Mr. Gillingham. I knew he would show up.
He might not be able to make up enough ground, but he's gonna gun
I
for
guarantee you, he won't stop trying.
Here comes Bill McCall.
Takes a 12, just like Jeff Hopkins on the Black Panther.
All right, 454 for Bill. And Bill said he had a great weekend out here. You know, new range. He said it was good. It was challenging. He shot his bow well. His judging was on him. He just said he had a really great weekend here.
Yeah,
12 for Hopkins.
And Jeff shoots another 12 to remain in the lead. You know, talking about Bill there, I know Stephen Altizer, a good friend of mine, and Bill shot together, I think last weekend practicing, and he said Bill shot really, really strong. And so that always helps when you have a good weekend of practice before you come to these events.
Right.
It really builds up that confidence.
So that was a 10 for Jamie. He gets a 444.
Scott's also picked up 2 12s of his own.
Still holding.
Right now we're sitting
Hopkins 1, Bill McCall 2, Scott Darnell 3.
16 bonus rings, Bill McCall at 454 and 16 bonus
So
rings. Scott Darnell's at 450.
Jamie wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out to Dad, Mom, Wife, Brother, and everybody watching at the shop.
All right.
And everybody
Got it turned on there, watching their guy.
Something about that too that I really like is that you see, obviously he's a fantastic shooter, but knowing that he works in the shop, runs the shop, he's so invested in archery and to teaching people and to helping them become better shooters. And so if you're in that Michigan area, and I'm not exactly sure, Adams Archery, you know, if you're up there in that area and you want to go see a guy that knows how to tune a bow and shoot a bow, go see Jamie.
Jeff Hopkins holding on that deer. He is upper, and he did call
He must have called upper.
I don't see his cone behind him, so it's got to be in front. He is on fire.
Hasn't missed a ring yet. Oh, Gillingham shooting.
Just missed.
That's close.
That's close. I'm saying just missed, but he could have pulled that line. We'll see. Here's Bill McCall. I wanted to see his arrow on that hyena.
Shot.
Okay, so
just over
Jeff's going to gain 2 points there. But over to 1, the Wolverine.
Jamie did
For
call
Jamie,
upper.
he called upper.
Got it. Hey, these senior pros, they're showing that Wolverine. Who's boss?
Yeah.
Not a problem for these guys.
Good look at Scott Darnell there. Looks like he's just left potentially on that Wolfe. Get the call here. Yep, just outside.
Yeah, Scott, Scott shoots a lot of fish. He's a champion bow fisher.
All right.
Big fish.
Where's he from?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Bismarck,
Okay.
Arkansas.
Yeah. He'll have lots of
I
targets.
think originally he's from Arizona, but he's been in Arkansas for a while now.
I think Tim's just over that. He looks upset. Yep, that's an 8.
You typically never have to wonder how Tim did on a target. You can just watch the expression. I love that about him.
Yes.
Bill McCall with the 10. Jeff's got a very determined look on his face.
Yeah.
Kind of analyzing this whole thing, but at the same time, the gas has been mashed.
He said he was going to do it. He's doing it. 468 boosted his lead.
He will be tough to catch.
So we'll wait for our leaderboard to update there, but we have Jeff Hopkins at 468, Bill McCall at 464, Scott Darnell 460. There we go.
Bill McCall is at 464 with 16 bonus rings. In third is Scott.
So that
and 3 bonus rings.
the 4 stabilizers on Gillingham's bow. I've tried it. Well,
do you like it?
I haven't tried 4 like he's got his 4 set up.
Yeah.
But I've tried 4, and it's really impressive what it does on a short axle-to-axle bow. And Tim is a giant, by the way. Him and Jeff both are, 6'5". I think Tim's actually 6'7".
Oh, no kidding.
And so.
Oh. You can see Jeff's reaction on that one.
May have faltered a little bit there.
So Bill's going to take a look here. Bill hasn't shot yet. He's down to 35, 34. Plenty of time, but he definitely wanted to see what Jeff did.
I said Bill is typically a slow, methodical shooter, so let's hope he don't need to let down.
18, 17, 16.
Gonna have to get the shot off.
Oh, just left.
Actually, he may have called for upper, I think.
Yeah.
So mainly just low.
All right, we're going to go over to Jeff on that Wolverine, and he did not like his shot. Here's Scott Darnell replay on that Panther. I don't know if he was going for the 14, but let's look at Jeff's error here.
If you notice that, they've scored that as an 8. Definitely was an 8. But I don't know if you noticed by the camera angle there, but you could see the foam kind of crinkly and everything. That makes those arrows really difficult to score at times.
This is Jamie on the Wolfe.
Going for a 14. I like the play. He definitely had to do that, and that was the right time to do it. Unfortunately, it's 8 points instead of 14, but that's the game that we play. That's the beauty of the ASA. The risk reward.
Risk reward
is, what we just watched. Now, it really wasn't, but it's like a car crash. If you want to, relate it to NASCAR, that's why people watch it, right? And
yes.
They watch for the crashes. That's what this game does. It provides an opportunity for a big win or a huge crash. And look,
there he goes.
Yes. You knew it was coming. No surprise on the second to the longest target out there. He shoots a 14.
And he's moved himself off of 5th place anyway.
Yeah.
For the time being, within 2.
He's never too far away.
Actually, he just shot himself into the 6th arrow. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, he did. Tim Gillihan just pulled himself into that last arrow.
So that 8 hurt Hopkins a little bit. Obviously still got the lead.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that 8 also helped Tim because that kept him in there.
There's Jamie. He's going to take home 5th place in his first ever pro shoot down. Congratulations to him. That's awesome.
Yes, congratulations, Jamie. Good shooting, buddy.
So now we're going to go to our 6th arrow. Scott Parrott's going to come out here and designate a shooting spot. We don't know where. And we know that they have a blessed buck target in the back. They can bring that out as a 6th target, or they can just have them shoot one of the 5 that are out here.
Yeah, I see somebody peeking the head through the curtains down there. I don't know if they're bringing the target out.
Boy, Scott is walking way down range. That's...
Okay, so
wow.
Let's talk about something that happened this weekend. On several ranges, we had a few really short targets. Really short.
I didn't do too well there.
Yeah, let's talk about that, PJ. It can be really challenging.
It is.
If you don't know how to shoot that and you've never practiced it, and also
that's me.
From bow to bow, you can have a little change too. So every setup might present a little bit of a challenge. Now, if these were really tiny rings, like I'm talking about the size of maybe, half the size of a dime or something.
Yeah.
To hit that at, say, 5 yards, 4 yards, you've got to be dialed in.
Absolutely.
And what most people would think, if it's a 5-yard shot or a 4-yard shot, you step up and where does my arrow hit? Is it less than 20 yards?
Right.
So if you haven't done archery before, or close distance archery before,
yes,
it can really throw you for a loop. Now, I don't think they're
not
that
that
close.
But that 6-yard target, okay, I put my sight at about 15, and it was shorter than that, but I actually should have had my sight at about 30.
Yeah.
And I would have been all right. But that's something I didn't know.
Right.
You guys do.
And you want to make that really difficult, put it at 3.5 yards. Because then you have to have your sight on somewhere around 50, 55.
Yeah.
And you'll miss a mile if you don't know what you're doing.
Dan McCarthy, he called that a technical archery shot,
yes,
as opposed to, aiming at something and trying to get it.
Yeah.
You have to know that about your setup.
That's exactly right. Well, this will be interesting. Several years ago, which I want to give a shout out to who we're missing here, who I didn't fill his shoes because you can't fill Darren Christenberry's shoes. But I know he's watching tonight, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family.
Definitely.
Lost a loved one this past week, and so just wanted to say, Darren, we love you, we miss you.
You betcha, Darren.
And give a shout out to him because several years ago I watched him in a shoot-off where they shot like a 6-yard target in the final arrow.
Oh, man.
And my man come up a little short. And it was, I may be a little foggy on all the details exactly. I'm sure he'll tell you. But I've seen this play out not as good as people would think that, or as easily as it would play out. Now, I'm going to tell you who has the advantage right here. Anybody with a triggered release. Because you're holding steady enough at that short distance that you don't have to hold forever. You can get the pin there, and as soon as the pin gets there, you can let it go. And we know that's what he's going to do.
And that's what he did. 14.
No doubt. That's going to be a 14.
I don't know that distance, Nathan? I'm trying to look out there. I'm going to say it's in the vicinity of 10 yards or so. I don't know.
That's probably a pretty good guess.
I'm not giving anything away by telling you this distance because they moved so much stuff. That's not going to help anybody.
So
Tim's going to end up at 480.
So Scott is next up. He's
and now he needs that 14.
Oh, he does. Absolutely.
And I mean, if he does, he will take it on. I believe he's got more bonus. No, Tim's got more bonus rings.
So he
needs the 14.
He has to have a 14. He can't shoot a 12.
No.
He has to have a 14.
Yeah, and he got it.
No problem. So he sews up minimum of third place.
Minimum
here.
third place.
Scott says, I'll take it for 14 for Scott.
Yeah,
One of Scott's fans.
Yeah,
out there.
Scott's got some fans. Now listen, I'm from Arkansas. Everyone that knows me knows I'll never call the Hogs, but I'm going to tell you what, there's some crazy Arkansas Razorback fans out there, and I think we got some in the crowd tonight that love fellow Arkansans.
All right, Bill McCall up next. Looking at Bill, and Bill's one of those guys who shoots, as you see there, 2 fingers.
Yeah. He actually looked like he took a Dremel tool or something to hack off that the
did.
end of that release, just so he don't stick another finger up there. Shoot,
Center 10.
Center 10. I guess he didn't really feel like he had anything to gain or couldn't catch Hopkins maybe. I'm not really sure on that play.
2 points
Now
behind.
Maybe
he was trying for one of those 12s.
Well, it could be that he was unsure of exactly how to shoot that. And so knowing that he could shoot center 10 and obviously save second place, he may have been thinking that. So all Jeff has to do here is just shoot a 10 ring. And I've seen Jeff shoot at 14 rings when he shouldn't have. And I would think he's learned his lesson.
I've heard people say that before, especially about him, and I can't say that he has.
Well, listen, you don't win as much as what he has and accomplish as much as what he has without being aggressive.
There he goes.
Good shot.
That
Great
was all
win.
he needed.
Yeah, for sure. So Jeff gets to add another number to that titles collection.
We don't even
that
know.
he has.
Yep, over 100.
Over 100. That's super impressive. His wife and his son are here with him. Yeah.
Scott shoots in the Open Pro class.
He does. I shot with him last tournament, actually. I got to shoot with Scott, and that was fun. He shot really good, too. Took it right down to the wire, almost made the top 5. And I can tell you, nobody was happier than Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff is super, super proud of that young man.
Absolutely.
And he's got a lot of reason to be.
Yep. He's going to come on over here. Jeff is to the interview area. He's going to get that headset on there. Now he can hear me. Jeff, how'd you like that last target?
Part of archery, I guess. It definitely made it a lot stressful.
Tell us about your weekend. You had a great weekend.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend's been great, but it's also kind of a sad weekend for me. I don't know if everybody knows, but Steve Mack had a stroke. And Steve Mack's with Classic Archery, and man, I got a heavy heart thinking about him and his family right now. And, I've known Steve since 1993 when I started coming to these things. I actually traveled with Steve the first one. And so I'm really need everybody's prayers for him and thinking about him right now. He's in the hospital here, had a stroke yesterday.
We certainly wish him the best.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, we had a conversation, I guess it was Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday during the middle of the day. You called me on your way down, and we started talking about the wreck that me and you have on the archery range. We'll shoot a ton of 12s, and all of a sudden we'll just have a big wreck. And you didn't have that big wreck this weekend.
No, I didn't. I listened to your advice and stayed out of the 8 ring a lot.
Yeah.
But actually, the conversation started where it was $100 an air, and I was going to stop. We're going to shoot in your yard.
That's true. That's exactly.
And you didn't take Scott and I up on it.
I balked. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't blame you.
Well, I see where you're at right now, and it was a good call.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the advice.
Yeah, congratulations, too.
Yeah.
Awesome shooting.
Right, thanks, guys.
Jeff, congratulations.
Yep.
Great round.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Big win there for Jeff Hopkins. Congratulations to him. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back at the Bossier City Civic Center for our Open Pro division. We'll be right back.
Waste that.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Bossier City Civic Center. We're looking through the jaws of that gator there. That is a brand new trophy the folks from Louisiana brought out for us. Those things are cool. And as we get into the Open Pro shoot down, there's our standings. Nathan, tell us what you see.
Well, I see a couple of really familiar names. Dan McCarthy obviously leading this, who has just been on a tear at 440, which is phenomenal. That's 21-12 rings. That's only 1-8 on the weekend. And Levi Morgan, fresh off a new baby, with no sleep, I'm sure, a score of 430 and a pile of bonus rings as well. Sam Smith at 428 and Justin Martin at 426 and Chris Hacker coming in there at 426 also. Look, these guys shot just awesome. I shot that course. They shot awesome. That's all there is to this.
Well, all right, let's get the action rolling. Bring out the archers.
So, Open Pro. Let's do this, guys. In 5th place, shooting for Hoyt Archery, from Van Buren, Arkansas, Mr. Chris Hacker. Your 4th place qualifier, shooting for Martin, from Kilbuck, Ohio, Justin Martin. In 3rd place, shooting for Matthews, from Carnesville, Georgia, Sam Smith. And in 2nd place, shooting for Matthews, from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, Levi Morgan. Also shooting for Matthews in 1st place, from Wazeeka, Wisconsin, Dan McCarthy.
All right, Nathan, I am not going to lie to you. I spent all weekend with these guys shooting. I am as excited for this as anybody. We've got Chris Hacker, who is inching closer and closer to his first win. Justin Martin and Sam Smith, their first ever pro shoot down. Levi Morgan just had a baby. He had a family tragedy earlier in the year. This is his first tournament back. And Dan McCarthy at the end going for 8 in a row.
Well, what I can tell you starting off right here, Chris Hacker from Van Buren, Arkansas, he is my shooting buddy. We live about 20 minutes apart, and we get to shoot together a lot and have known each other for years. He's had a lot on his mind this weekend, as his father-in-law's had some really bad health issues, and that's been on his mind like crazy, I know, but I want to tell you what, he hasn't shot an 8 all weekend.
No, none.
Even in practice, there was no 8 shot. So this guy, he's on his game big time, and you can tell he's focused. Good look at Sam there. He's,
Smith.
You know, he's not the tallest shooter out here, but I'm going to tell you what, he let everybody know he was here this weekend. He shot fantastic.
3rd year as a pro, we are excited to see him out there. But first up, we have Dan McCarthy. Now, we should mention Dan McCarthy is dealing with some severe back problems. If you see him wincing as he moves, he has just been in severe pain. Look at his face all weekend. He is hurting. He still managed to shoot 40 up and lead this class.
I mean, honestly, it is it's so spectacular. I mean, it just really is. And to see him shoot a 5 there, his left and right was perfect. But his height, I mean, he shot him high. So my guess is he just misjudged it, which is very uncharacteristic of Dan.
Yes, it is.
You see Levi's error there on
So close.
On the Wolfe, that's the closest arrow or closest target we have out here, and he's shooting at a 14.
That's going to be
just a hair shy, just a little shy. So he had made his decision what he was going to do before Dan even shot that arrow. Nobody expected Dan to shoot a 5 on the first one. Had he known Dan was going to hit a 5, I guarantee you Levi would have probably still shot at the 14 because he knows he's got to make up some ground somewhere, and that's not going to happen to Danny very often, shooting a bad shot like that.
Sam Smith shoots a 10 on his first shoot down arrow, and that moved him quickly into a tie for second place with Levi Morgan. Here's Justin Martin, 9 years of pro. This is his first shoot down, and he shot great this weekend.
Yeah, Justin has been out here for a long time, and I've shot with him several times. Great person. Been so close so many times.
So close. ASA, we should mention. He's
Yes.
made shoot downs in other formats.
Yes.
But ASA, this is his first.
He's had podiums at other venues.
Yes.
But he's definitely a great shooter and makes a great shot and had a good weekend.
And look at Mr. Hacker here. There's a 12.
I'm telling you, that's my boy right there.
And now he just moved himself into that three-way tie for second.
Yeah. Look at this. I mean, it's tight. It's really tight. I know what Chris is thinking over here on this Wolverine, and it's 10 ring. Now, don't get me wrong. He can hit a 14. Matter of fact, he hit a 14 on this target the other day in practice at 50 yards. Unknown, 50. Just walked up. I was beating him, and he had nothing to lose, and he absolutely smoked it. And then I made a horrible shot and hit it in the leg, and he quickly went to first place.
Oh, wow.
But I'm going to tell you, he's shooting extremely well and very, very intelligently shooting, not just shooting good.
We're looking at Justin Martin here on this deer. Center 10, good shot from Justin. His wife shoots women's pro, Brandy, and when she finished her round, I went down there and I said, hey, Justin made the shoot down. She immediately burst into tears and she said, you're not messing with me, are you? I said, I wouldn't do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They both have obviously a great passion for archery. They've been doing it together for a long time, and you know, when a partner like that has success, you're just so happy for them.
Yeah. I believe I saw Dan just crush a 12 ring. So that's Chris Hacker, as you mentioned, center 10.
Dead center 10. What I fully expected out of the boy. Probably gave it just a hair more than what he thought, trying to catch that upper if he could, but wanted the center 10.
Here's Dan. Dan quickly corrected himself. We don't know what happened on that first one, but now he's back.
Yeah.
Back on track.
And Dan shot 21 12s on the weekend. That's half of the 12s he judged correctly and shot correctly, not just judged correctly, but I mean, well, actually it's over half.
With that back?
With a
unbelievable. Now, he told me he doesn't care if he wins this to go to 8 in a row. He comes out and treats each tournament individually, but Levi did call the upper 12, so there you go.
And he got it.
But if Dan does get that 8 in a row in this open pro class, that is insane.
Yes. Well,
especially with that guy right next to him, Levi Morgan.
Well, Sam got a 10 there on the hyena. The thing about Dan is, I do believe him when he says he doesn't really care about the 8 in a row. He's just treating this as archery. I mean, the one thing about it, no one is outworking him. He's shooting 1,000 arrows a week.
Yeah.
1,000 arrows a week.
Crazy.
And it's probably seeing about 300 to 400 targets a week too. It's hard to beat somebody working that hard at it.
Yeah.
If people think it's just natural ability, yeah, there is a lot of that that's involved, but you cannot outwork Dan McCarthy.
Yeah, he said he was thrown a little bit because he's from Wisconsin, where winter is hanging on forever. So there's no foliage up there, and he comes down here and there's everything's leafed up. He thought it was going to mess with him, but clearly it didn't.
Take a look at that crowd there. We got a big crowd here in the Bossier City Civic Center. They really rolled out the red carpet for us, and the folks turned out. We are enjoying our new relationship here with these folks in Louisiana.
I love the temperature in here, PJ. It may be hot up there on that line, but right here, it's really nice.
Nice and cool. Oh, Levi just straight left.
So
There's Justin.
10 ring on that Wolverine.
Here's Dan. Holding on.
I think he was shooting upper there, so he's just a little shy on that one. He said that he was going to shoot uppers this weekend, pretty much the whole weekend. He plays it by target, but for the most part, all weekend he's been shooting at the uppers. And I think that's a little bit has to do with that back, too, because of just strength. Knowing that if you're going to miss, you're probably going to miss low. And so he only shot 1.8, I have to say. So obviously that worked out really good for him.
Yeah, I watched him catch his foot on a vine, and he just about fell over from the pain that caused him. And like I said, I can't believe he could come out here in this class.
Chris shooting that 14 right there.
Yeah, let's get to Hacker.
Super drive 25, 14.
Yeah.
Great shot by Chris. And I mean, you know, when you're in these shoot-offs, you have to think about your play. And it's not just about each target. It's also about where you're at in rotation, because sometimes these scores will mess with you because you know someone else has shot that short target. Maybe you're on the long one.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're ahead, but you know what? Not really. So you have to keep all those things in mind when you're up there. And that may not seem like something to, you know, that would be hard to process when you're out there. But this goes fast.
I don't think I could remember my name standing up there.
It goes faster than what you think. So you're having to think about not only the shot and what's in front of you, but what you have to do in order to take the lead or just straight over that 12. But you have to think about those things. And, you know, Chris shooting that 14 on that last one, obviously, if he's going to make a run at this win and at second, at any of it, you know, I mean, he's got to do that, and he did.
He just moved into second place behind Dan McCarthy, 2 ahead of Levi.
And Levi's already shot that short one. Yeah. So Levi has the short deer here on the end, and then he's got the Wolverine to finish on. So that will be difficult for Levi to have to, you know, finish on that Wolverine.
There's Sam Smith. You're mentioning being in archery. He owns a shop called Sambo's Archery in Carnesville, Georgia. And this kid is as much a fan of this game as anybody. He wanted to be in this shoot down so bad.
Yeah, you know, he told me, he said, I really want to be in this shoot down for my dad.
Right.
He said, I want to be here for me, but he said, I really want to do it for my dad. It's just been on my mind a lot. And, you know, Kevin, his dad, has been out here, he's helped with the ranges in the past.
Yes, he does.
You know,
everybody loves Kevin.
Absolutely.
We all know him.
Absolutely. Love the whole Smith family.
Yeah. And his mom, Ava, sister, Kenzie.
So we got...
There's Levi, went for that 14.
Looked like he did, didn't it?
I think he might have got it. Sam takes 10 for 468.
So other than Dan on the Wolverine, all these guys have 10'd or 12'd that Wolverine so far.
All right, let's move on to
Justin Martin went for a 14 on that Wolfe. I think he might have just been tall.
Look at that perfect left and right.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's exactly what we're talking about when we talk about judging yardage.
Yep.
That's not a shot failure. That's a yard and a half too much on the side. So he had to judge it. These guys coming in right after these guys, they're going to have those range finders. They won't make that mistake as far as setting their sight, but they might miss the shot. But you can tell he didn't miss that shot. He just misjudged it.
All right, Chris Hacker.
So Chris Hacker Got that 10 there. 472. It's going to move him to.
I knew he was going to be shooting at the upper on that. I didn't even have to look at that cone just because I know Chris, and he was perfect left and right. He was just straight low.
Dan did not call upper on that, so that's a 10. 477. And now this next arrow is the one I want to see, because Levi went for that 14. As we mentioned, this is his first tournament of the season. He missed the first two. It was super exciting to see him out there competing again.
Got it.
Got it. That's why we like having Levi Morgan on the line.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of fans that liked to, was happy to see him back out here too, because he's got a big following.
Yes, he does.
And he's great for the sport.
I saw him signing kids' hats yesterday. Come up to him on the range.
You know, that long list of wins and titles of everything I was talking about Jeff Hopkins has. This guy here has got a ridiculous amount as well. He didn't list it.
13 in a row shooter of the year in the Open Pro. Just a long stretch there.
Over 40 ASA wins, just in ASA. That doesn't include any other venue, you know.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And there's no slowing down.
No.
Unless that new baby. But he's got two more on top of that, so I don't see it happening. Ooh.
Oh, Justin Martin went for it. There's Dan Holden. Super steady. Look at him, like a rock.
Absolutely.
Just over.
Just over it. He said what hurt the most with his back was when the bow fired. It didn't really hurt when he drew the bow. Well, maybe a little bit when he draws it, but when he gets it full draw, he doesn't really feel it. And then when you fire it, it's just the shock of everything. So, seems like he's handling it pretty well.
There's 10 for Levi. We should mention with that 14, Levi had moved himself back into second place, 2 ahead of Chris. Coming over to Sam Smith.
Sam on this Wolfe looks a little low. Yeah, just low. That's that line you see there. That's the core line, obviously not the 10 line or the 8 line. It's
8.
Justin shooting here at the 14 on this black cat. Now I'm going to tell you what that's like aiming at. Just to give you an idea. If you were to go get a cardboard box and take a pencil and draw a little ring on it, and stick it out there.
Yep.
And stick it out there at 35, 40 yards and not have a clue where it's at, that's what it's like aiming it. There's really not much to reference on there at all. So
no, those black targets, it just all melts together.
Good 10 there for Chris on that hyena. I know he probably wanted the 12 there. Just to keep the heat pressure on Levi for a second. But he's still right there close.
Dan's going to get a 10 here.
Put Dan at 487. Oh, I'm sorry. 470.
Oh, wow. That'll update here. That is a 487. So, only Justin Martin. Oh, and Sam.
Yeah, Sam will just be out.
Sam will finish in 4th. Justin Martin in 5th. Both in their first pro shoot downs here at the ASA. I think we might see them again.
Oh yeah, and listen, they both shot 28 and 26 up on the weekend. Justin shot 22 up today.
Yeah. Crushed it today.
I mean, phenomenal rounds. And the thing about that is you can have your best weekend ever and still not win. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But these guys are so good.
So
If
good.
you're going to win, you're going to have to do something spectacular.
If you saw it in our opening, there was a small clip there. The highlight of Sam's day, I know, was Dan McCarthy had an arrow in the 10 ring, and Sam Smith Robin Hooded it, meaning he shot it inside Dan's arrow.
I was 2 targets over when that happened, and I heard it. It's undeniable what happens if you've heard it before. It's a crash, but it's a different kind of crash because a lot of times that crash is, well, like I said, you just have to know what it sounds like, and once you hear it, you'll never forget it.
So we're going to shoot the hyena, we're told. Scott Parrott has moved them forward a couple yards.
So take a notice there on that hyena. See that black dot right underneath the 14?
Yes.
And you see the black dot right underneath the low 12.
Low 12.
So you have great aiming points on this particular target. That's one of the reasons why I was really happy to see this one come back, because even if you have to lead this one off, you always have a good reference.
Yeah.
Now, this puts a lot of pressure on Chris, because he's got to decide. He's going to be the first to shoot, and he's got to decide if he's going to shoot at a 14 and put the pressure on Levi to have to shoot a 14 to beat him. Because if he shoots a 12, all Levi has to do is shoot a 10, and I'm pretty sure Levi has him on 12 count. So it puts pressure on Chris, but then again, it doesn't. It puts pressure on him just because he's got to make this shot. He's got to hit the 14 to do what he wants to do.
Right.
But something he can be it's a heck of a shot there.
It is. It's out there. That's the second longest target, and like I said, we moved him up about 5 steps.
I don't know how far that is, but I'm just going to ballpark it. It's 45ish. Just a guess.
It's the last shot, so we can tell folks.
Oh my gosh! I don't know if he got that or not, but that is awfully close. I think he got it. It's hard to tell.
He's smiling.
He is happy. Yes,
oh yeah,
he got it. So now Levi has to shoot a 14. About to jump out of my seat over here. Like I said, that's my buddy. God, that's awesome. Oh,
here's a guy who has shot 1,000,000 arrows in pressure situation.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's nothing new to Levi, but I'll tell you this. Every time that I talk to him about it, he'll say, it's not getting easier. It gets harder. Look at his pinky finger.
Yeah.
It's got a little wobble to it. They don't happen out on the range when there's nothing going on.
Oh, just low left.
Just left of it. So Chris will definitely take home second place. Minimum.
Yeah. Hey, congrats to
Awesome.
Levi.
Yeah,
coming
awesome
back, first
shooting.
tournament.
Yeah.
All his issues, comes out, finishes third. Good for him.
I think the play there would have been, you add it, you judge it, you add a yard, and you aim right at that little black dot.
Oh, yeah,
because you want your arrow to rise right over the top of that, and it's such a good holding spot.
So now, Dan needs to hit a 10 to win. A 10 will win it.
Well, stranger things have happened.
Yes, they have. Well, we saw him shoot a 5. When's
did.
the last time we saw Dan McCarthy shoot a 5 out here?
When's the last time you've seen Dan McCarthy shoot a 5 anywhere?
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
This is for 8 in a row.
God, look at that. Just like a rock, like a stone.
Got it.
Right in the middle.
Center 10.
That's all he needed to do. 8 in a row. Wow.
And I'll tell you what, we were talking about that, whether he wants it or not. All he wanted was that arrow to be out of that bow. He wants the pain to stop.
Well, it can definitely stop, and I tell you that the wind will definitely make him feel a little better, too.
There's his wife, Emily, coming out. She knows he's hurting.
Eases the pain a little when you know you just won. Oh, wow. What a great shoot.
Not hugging him too hard there. You don't want to hurt the back.
Yeah, look at there. I mean, if you see where Chris come in, he come in at 5th place.
Yeah.
And he made his way all the way up to 2nd. That's
for sure.
That's great. What an awesome
to
round.
Chris Hacker. Absolutely. And now he comes over to the headset there. Dan, are you more happy about the win or to not be shooting anymore?
I'm happy to not be shooting in the win. Dang, those guys are good. Those guys are awesome.
Tell us about your weekend. We know you had the back issues, but besides that, you shot awesome this weekend anyway.
Yeah, I shot really well out there. This stuff here, man, it's just so different in here. That first target, I was pretty confident. I had a pretty good number. I thought, just be smart. Come out here. Don't do anything stupid. Don't shoot any 5s, right? So I thought I'd just aim center 10. You got a good number on it. I obviously didn't. And then it went into like total chaos mode of like, all right, you're going to have to shoot at some of these things. Props to Levi. Levi's a freaking hammer at this game, and I had no doubt that he was going to probably put some pressure on me, even with the 10-point lead, starting out with a 10-point lead, without a 5 in the mix. So 5 in it, it was just like right away. I was like, all right, we got a definite tournament on our hands again, and this game's going to get interesting. So
well, I know you said that 8 in a row really wasn't what you were focused on by any means at all, but how spectacular. I mean, I'm going to give the credit you deserve for the effort that you've put in to earn this is fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that, but I didn't do this stuff by myself. I had Dane Johnson's dad, Butch Johnson. He helped me out more this weekend. I mean, gave me multiple chiropractor adjustments to get me standing up straight. And wins like this or streaks or any of that stuff, it goes back to Randy Mara, used to drive me to 3D tournaments when I was a kid. And, I could name Sandy Jennings here taking a picture. I used to practice in this area with her and Daniel Matthews, and there is just a ton of people out here in the crowd that's helped me get to where I go. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm thankful for all of them.
Well, that's evident. Fantastic.
All right, Dan, we'll let you go put your back to rest there. Congratulations. Great win.
Thank you very much. Bye.
All right, Dan McCarthy, 8 in a row in the Open Pro Division. Spectacular. Folks, we are not done yet. Now we're going to get back. We're going to know all the distances to these targets with our known pro. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Bossier City Civic Center, the Easton Hoyt Pro-Am. We are at our last division for the night. Known Pro Nathan, take a look at those monster scores.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I don't even really know what to say. Remington Boyer here at 456, along with Justin Hanna also at 456. I know Justin didn't shoot any 8s on the weekend. I think Remington has one. That's why he's actually in first. And you got Kyle Douglas at 454, which is just 2 points. And that's nothing in this game. And Matthew Burns at 450, who is just in his third tournament as known pro. Shot awesome on the weekend. And then Chris Perkins, who has done this numerous times, obviously shooting super well at 448.
This is going to be a horse race. We want to get these archers out here. Let's bring them out.
All right, for our last event of the evening, the known pro division, your 5th place qualifier from Ontario, Canada, shooting for Matthews, Chris Perkins. Your 4th place qualifier, shooting for Hoyt, from Oneonta, Alabama, Matthew Burns. And your 3rd place qualifier, shooting for PSE, from Liberty, Utah, Kyle Douglas. And in 2nd place, from Asheville, North Carolina, shooting for Matthews, Justin Hanna. And your 1st place qualifier, shooting for Matthews, from Sullivan, Missouri, Remington Boyer.
All right, Nathan, 8 points separates 1st from 5th. 8 points in known pro is nothing because these guys are going to shoot at 14s.
I'm going to need a calculator. I'm going to need a calculator.
It's great to see Matt Burns out there, as you mentioned, his first ever pro shoot down, his third tournament ever.
Yeah, I talked with Matt a little bit earlier, and he said, his first pro tournament was a big letdown for him. Struggled, learned a whole lot, jumped into the next one, got a little bit better, put a launcher blade on, and then for whatever reason, man, it just came together.
It sure did.
Yeah, and so here he is in his first pro shoot-off. Finds himself in 4th place, and he operates Vans Sporting Goods in Coleman, Alabama. So,
all right, we're looking at Christopher Perkins there, our 2021 known pro shooter of the year.
Shooting his signature. Oh, wow.
Is so close.
Shooting his signature true ball release there.
He's got it. Oh, Matt Burns donutted that one on the Hyena.
Boom. That is awesome.
Going down to the end to Remington Boyer, who got his first win, I believe it was last year.
Yep.
In Paris, Texas.
Yeah, you're right.
And he did call upper.
Called upper, and he gets it. So there we go. Let's pull out the calculator like we said.
Yep. They're going to do it. And Justin Hanna the last couple years has really caught on. Got a couple wins under his belt. When he's on, he's hard to beat.
Well, here's the thing. He is ridiculously consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's he won Shooter of the Year.
14.
Was it 2 years ago that he won Shooter of the Year in known pro?
I forget.
He definitely won. These years start going together, especially after COVID. But he is going to be there. He shoots extremely good.
He just shot himself into first place solo at a 470 with that 14. And there's Kyle Douglas, multiple Vegas champ, multiple indoor nationals champ. He's won these. I mean, the guy just shoots a bow. That's Matt Burns, your first 12. Shoot down arrow is a 12.
That's a good way to start. Got to feel pretty good about that.
Now here's Christopher Perkins. Let's see. That was a close one. We only got a quick look at it, but we're going to get a better look at it now. Oh, see, now look at that line.
Look at
that
pull. Wow, that is close. Now, and that's.
Look at that. I mean, that's as far as you can stretch it.
That's so hard to call. I mean, so hard to call.
There it is. He gave it. Got it.
Got it.
414. Chris seems in disbelief at that.
When they stretch like that, you just.
So for
it's
folks,
so hard.
Yeah, for folks looking at home, what I can tell you how Scott Parrott judges is he says it's in unless he sees something that says it's out.
Yeah.
So it's in. That's the assumption, and then he goes on what he's looking at. Now we're looking at it on a camera, TV screen.
Yeah.
But trust me, it's different when you're down there.
Absolutely, 100%. Because when you walk up to that target, and you're trying to make a distinction of where that line starts and stops.
Exactly.
And when it stretches that foam like that, it's so difficult to say it's 100% out. And Scott's going to call it in unless he can see something that makes him think that it's out. And he is consistent in the way he calls them.
That's the thing. Like, everyone will get that call with Scott.
Right.
Good look at Justin.
Oh, just so solid. So solid.
Justin is a home builder, and he's in real estate back home.
Man, just missed that one a hair to the right.
Matt Burns just over.
Oh, that's going to be close.
So here's Chris Perkins on the Hyena. Missed that upper 12.
Yeah, that's the Wolverine there. That's the longest shot out here.
Yes. Let's get to distance. So that one is 44.1 yards is the Wolverine. Our next target, that Remington Boyer shot, which is the Wolfe, that is 28 yards.
Wow.
And what did Remington? He just missed.
Just off. Just off of that.
So that's going to move into 476. Now, next up is Justin Hanna on the Panther. That is 39.5 yards.
Looked to me like he shot just a hair right when I saw that before, but maybe not as far right as I thought.
Yeah, look under his arrow, Nathan, where the target's even torn.
Split.
Like, if you're looking at that, the line is separated. That's a tough call.
Yeah, that one looked like it was fairly crisp as far as the edge of the line.
Yeah.
Again, I know I'm looking at the, through the camera lens, and that's hard to tell sometimes. But that one kind of looked crisp.
Right.
So I can see where that distinction would be a lot easier made than what we saw over here on the 14 call earlier.
Hyena down there.
Look at this.
There we go.
I mean, it's arrow call after arrow call, and it is so difficult because I mean it's a huge point swing.
Yep. And there it is, 12.
But that one again, I totally agree with what I saw on camera. I mean, that's got to be a 12.
That's 44.5 yards is the Hyena.
So that's actually the longest.
That is the longest by 0.4 yards.
Just the way those look over there, it looks like, I guess from our vantage point, obviously the Wolverine looks longer, but where they're at on the line, it kind of angles back. So here we got another close one. Super, super close.
Scott is down there saying, man, this is difficult. There it is, an 8.
That one's just out.
For Matt, 470. It's going to put him 2. All right, so everybody shifts. Justin Hanna is our leader at 480. Remington Boyer and Kyle Douglas tied at 476. Christopher Perkins 472 and Matt Burns 470. So we are shaking up the order here with 3 arrows to go in regulation.
That guy right there just continues to impress me week in, week out with his mentality and how he shoots. He's a command shooter.
Right.
That for many years shot a slow hinge shot, a weight on it shot.
Yeah.
and changed to command style and just changed his whole mentality on how he shoots.
He said he kept dropping low out of it with the hinge, and so he's like, that was bothering him.
Oh no,
oh, that's Remington.
That's a pretty high right, or way right arrow. You know, something that I was talking about right at the beginning of the broadcast, when you were talking about the conditions that we were in on the range and what they're not going to deal with here. The one thing I did mention was the lighting, and every one of these guys shoots some sort of lens and some sort of peep that has a lens in it as well. And that lighting can really affect how that looks.
12 from Matt Burns moves him to 482. Chris Perkins, I believe, smashed this one.
If you see that form on Chris Perkins, he really stretches out, and he's really he's got his shoulder in basically straight in line with his arm. So it's almost like the triangle that he makes is a perfect triangle instead of he's 100% bone on bone pressure. So that really helps in pressure situations where you can just basically pull hard onto the bow to get the bow to fire.
That was an 8 for Remington Boyer, moves him to 484.
10 for Justin Hanna.
Justin Hanna with a 10, 490. Now Kyle. He went for the 14. I can see it from here, but I don't. It looks pretty good.
From here, it looks left from the way I look at things, but he may have it when we see it on screen. Oh, that's. I think that's in.
That looks
it may be
pretty
out,
darn
but
good.
Looks pretty good to me.
See that when he popped that light on?
Yeah.
The line just looked different, but Scott Parrott says 14.
Yeah. Thought so.
Now, Kyle Douglas just shot himself into a tie for first place.
He did. So what does Justin Hanna do here? does he say, okay, I've got 2 targets left and I need this 14? Because the last one's a pretty long shot.
Yeah, this one is the 33-yard deer. We didn't mention that. That's our last target, 33-yard deer. And what folks at home may not realize is that 14 ring is actually a hair bigger than that 12 ring. I know I've heard other archers say they like aiming at that because it's a little bit bigger.
Most people like aiming at it because of the potential to shoot 14 points.
That too.
But no, I would agree that on some targets, it feels almost more comfortable shooting at the 14 just because it's bigger. Even though you don't have that security blanket of that 10 ring around it.
Yep. Kyle calling the upper on the Wolverine.
Kyle, take a breath. Watch him kind of load his shoulder right there. See that pressure he's putting in that? I asked him about it. You see how fast that shot was?
He just ripped that thumb back, off it went. Versus Justin, who's shooting a hinge.
Mm-hmm. Oh, straight low.
Straight low. Ouch. Remington Boyer. Or no, it's Perkins.
Perkins.
Oh, another 14. He said, when I saw him in 5th place, I saw him earlier today, he was like, I'm 14 hunting. That's all there is to it.
Wow.
So
Upper
there's
12
Kyle.
for Kyle. And that was, the look we just saw for Kyle there. I asked him about that. Maybe earlier this week, I think. I asked him about his shoulder. Maybe it was the last tournament. I lose. I lose the days here, but I asked him about. Oh, look at that! That's awesome.
14 from Matt Burns.
Awesome shot, Matt. But I asked him about that shoulder and how he loads it and why. And he said, I don't know.
There you have it.
He
It
said,
works.
He said, I do that? He answered with a question. Well, from what I see you do, it obviously works. Another 14 for Chris Perkins.
500. Moves him to. Kyle, I believe, is at a 504. He's our leader.
Ooh, looky there. There's another pull. You see that pull?
Yep. 14 by Remington.
Yep.
498.
God,
He's not going away.
No, these guys are still tight. It's just super tight for score.
Yeah, Justin didn't like this shot. No, unfortunately.
That was where I asked the question before. What's Justin going to do here? When you're in the lead, you've got 2 targets left. One's 33, the other one's 44. Do you shoot at this one and just kind of lay up because the Wolverine is so easy to make a mistake on? Does it put him in a position now where he has to shoot a 14 if he wants to lead this thing going into the final arrow or tie with the final arrow?
Yeah, so now we got Kyle Douglas, 502. Now Chris Perkins, who came in 5th, is in 2nd, 2 points back at a 500. Remington Boyer, Justin Hanna, 498, and Matt Burns at 496. So we have moved this leaderboard all over the place. This is shot number 5.
So both Chris and Matt put their cones out for upper 12 calls, but makes you wonder, what are they shooting at?
Yeah.
Is that just a safety blanket to if they can't get the shot to go when they're aiming at the 14, they pull back over on the upper 12? Or are they 14 hunting?
Chris is on the 44.5-yard hyena.
Good aiming. Good aiming references for Chris.
And Kyle Douglas is on the shortest, the 28-yard Wolfe.
I can say Kyle's probably going to shoot at the 14. And he did. It looks like he got it from what I'm seeing.
Oh, he didn't like that.
Oh,
Perkins just off.
Just off. Yeah.
As soon as he shot it, he didn't like it.
So there's Hanna on the Wolverine shooting at the upper. I believe he got it. It's close. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Hanna's got 12 points there.
All right.
That'll move him to a 5-10.
Good recovery there for Justin.
Yeah.
Here's Kyle. This
He had to have shot it to 14.
He did. From what I'm seeing over here, I think, well, I thought he smoked it from here, and that's just my naked eye, no binocular on it.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
516.
Hey, you notice that scratch there on Scott's arm?
Yeah, I do.
That's because they cut a ton of lanes this weekend. 400
lanes they cut by hand.
Yeah.
In thick woods, too.
So there is
That's Matt
shooting at the 14 on the Black Panther. And I told you how hard that was to aim at earlier. And that's what he was seeing. He was not able to see those rings at all, I'm certain. He's just having to aim at nothing and hope for the best.
Yeah. 8 for Chris. Yep.
So it moves him to 508.
Remington Boyer. That looks close, if not in it. Just looking from here. That's right in the right area.
It's going to be close.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Actually, that wasn't really close at all. He smoked that
wasn't.
thing. Maybe I need to reevaluate my target recognition.
All right. We just shook things all up again.
Yeah.
So I believe we're at Kyle with a 516. Pretty confident on that. I believe Remington's now at 512.
Yep.
Yes. Justin Hanna 510. Now Chris Perkins 508. Matt Burns 504. Just swinging back and forth in this division.
Well, Kyle really set himself apart with that last arrow
Yeah.
on that Wolfe by hitting the 14. And, he hasn't really made, I guess, obviously a 10's the lowest scoring arrow that he's shot in these 5 targets. So he showed off again, does what you would expect from a multi-time Vegas champion, indoor shooting, 3D winning machine.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's just call him what he is.
So the only one we're gonna drop is Matt. Matt Burns. He's gonna finish 5th. Hey, your first pro shoot down, your 3rd ASA in the known pro division. That's a pretty good way to end.
Actually, he's still within 12, right?
He's not within 10.
Oh, it's within 10.
Yeah.
I've only been doing this 20-something years, BJ. I can't remember if it's 12 or 10. I'll get it one of these years.
So 5th place for Matt Burns. And currently, Kyle Douglas 516, Remington Boyer 512, Justin Hanna 510, Christopher Perkins 508.
So, congratulations, Matt Burns, obviously.
Definitely. Absolutely.
First pro shoot down, only your 3rd pro tournament ever. How awesome did he shoot this weekend to be up there with those guys that
Absolutely.
have won multiple tournaments. Shot fantastic.
And so we're trying to figure out what they are shooting at. He's positioned potentially on the Panther, I think. There you see Christopher using that rangefinder, again, known pro, so that's allowed in this division. He is called upper.
But I'm certain he's shooting at a 14 here.
Yeah, got no choice.
Like you said before, Chris was going to be 14 hunting before we started this round, and
It is the Panther he's shooting at.
So, aiming at this 14, like I've said a couple of different times, you can't see it. Even with his lenses, I would be astonished if he could actually see that 14 ring. So he's just aiming out in the middle of nowhere and hoping you can make the right shot. And that's evident of what happens right there, because I would say at that distance, which I don't know what it is, but I'm going to say it's probably less than 40 yards.
It was 39.5, and he moved him up about 5 yards or so.
Yeah. So I have no doubt Chris Perkins could hit a ring if he could see it.
Absolutely.
So that end, brings another neat thing to limelight here, I guess, because a lot of these guys are fantastic dot shooters, and they come over to the 3D side of things, and they struggle at 3D. Not that Chris Perkins ever has really struggled,
right?
But some of them do. We see some guys come over and shoot 3D that really struggle to shoot great scores, and it's just because they don't really recognize targets very well and how to aim on them. Because you're aiming at nothing.
Justin Hanna. I was going to say, Justin's one who does well aiming at.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. My words was going to be, although Justin is not one of those guys that has that problem.
No.
Well, you know, he actually started shooting 3D before he ever done dots.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the dot introvert.
Yes. So, Remington Boyer needs a 12 to tie Justin, and he would get him, I don't know the bonus rings from this round. He was up by 1 before we started. But a 12 ties him on score, and then the bonus rings would sort him out. But
yeah.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't shoot at the 14.
He just about has to.
He's calling upper.
Look at the eyes on that cat.
Yeah. Paint those things. Spray paint them neon green.
Yeah.
Producer says it looks like his 3-year-old daughter did the makeup on that target down there.
Some great eyeshadow. Look at Remington coming to anchor nice and smooth. It was such
there he goes.
So effortless if you watch that shot. I mean, just smooth as could be.
It's into 5:26, which means Justin Hanna will finish in 3rd at 5:24. Now, Kyle Douglas. All he has to do is shoot a 10 to tie.
12 to win.
And he had the same number of bonus rings coming in, and he's hit a pile in this shoot down. So
they're tied on bonus rings.
okay. I don't know if everyone can hear that, but Mike Tyrell says they are tied on bonus rings, he and Remington. So if he ties Remington in score, they will go to a sudden death shoot-off closest to the 12. But at a 12, at this distance for Kyle Douglas, if he can see anything, it's a pretty easy shot for him.
Yeah, distance-wise, the challenge here is obviously just target recognition.
Can
where
you
you're
see
aiming.
it?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, see, you've got some spots on that upper 12 and the lower 12 that you could aim off of if you could see those.
Oh, that's close.
That's super close.
Wow.
Okay, so he's not just looking at this. If I just had to look from the screen here, he's got enough arrow up in the 11 that would concern me.
Yeah.
And I say 11. I'm talking about the center ring.
Center ring. 10. That's worth 10 points.
But you can still get both. Yeah. Obviously, with an arrow that's big enough to be inside the upper or inside the center ring and just catching that one. That's going to be super close.
That's a 10 from Scott Parrott.
That's what he said.
Hey, what do we love? Sudden death.
That's right. That's right. Game on.
We always want to keep shooting.
Game on.
So Mike Tyrell says closest to the lower 12.
Closest to. So this will be closest to the center of the lower 12.
Right.
So remember, score doesn't matter.
Right.
You're just measuring from center of the 12 on this.
Yep.
Many years ago, I was in one of these shoot-offs, and I shot about 1/8 of an inch over the 10, over the 12, and my competitor shot about a 1/16 under the 12, and he was an 8 and I was a 10, and I didn't quite and this is before I was actually professional.
Yeah.
So this is back in the 90s. Charles Custer was his name. And anyway, I always thought, that doesn't seem right. Because mine was a 10, his was 8. But the rules are, we're going closest to center.
Closest to center. So we're shooting the deer, which from the shooting line was 33 yards, and they moved him up at least 4 yards.
Yeah, I was say this is going to be inside 30 yards. Now, both of these guys are obviously fantastic dot shooters.
Yep.
So this is where their precision game will come in.
The 12 is a little easier to see on this deer. Definitely easier than the Panther.
Yeah, I would say both of these guys will be able to see these rings inside of their lenses. Now, here's the question: whose pin is going to be shaking the most when they see it through that lens?
I mean, you're talking about a guy right there, Kyle Douglas, who has been in the most pressure-intense situations that you can be in. Remington's a younger guy, not quite that level of experience.
But both have won at this level.
Both have.
I'll give the advantage to Kyle on the shot style because he will command the shot here, where Remington's more of a squeezer. That's inside out, I would say. There's still room.
There is room.
There's still room.
Boy.
They're going to measure.
They got to measure. I mean, that's... He put the pressure on.
He might be touching the line there from the inside, touching the inside of the line with that arrow. But all that matters is the center. No, that's it's about
4 inches.
Mike Terrell saying 4 inches.
Half inch from center, it looked like from here. We don't know exactly what Scott Parrott is calling for the center of that spot, but
so here we go. Remington's got to just dial this down and make the shot. Obviously, Kyle's put his best effort down there. Yeah, really? Did you see that?
Quarter of an inch, we're told.
Yeah. Remington was really putting the eye on that sight tape.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is that right?
I mean, because here, he doesn't even want to be off by a quarter yard. He wants dead accurate.
Yeah, you got to have it perfect, and then you got to make the perfect shot, and then you got to have a little luck. Because let's just be honest, it's really difficult to hit dead center at that distance.
Oh, just out.
So Kyle's going to be your winner here. It's just, without even measuring that, we can see that arrow has went outside, of the 12 line.
Yep. Boy,
but
look where it is.
It is really close, though.
It's. I don't know.
No, well, they're measuring off that. I think that white dot might be the center.
This is crazy.
That angle does have a big play on this.
I don't know. What did he say? Did he say tie? I don't know. I think he said it's a tie. Scott Parrott's talking to him out there. Kyle was asking about it. Man, it's just...
Because you got to find center on that 12 ring.
Everybody's looking at... There's a giant LED screen in here. It's, I don't know, 6 foot by 8 feet that is showing what the camera was showing, what you're looking at right now. So Kyle and Remington are staring at it, trying to figure it out. But again, it's what is the center of that dot.
Right.
And if it's too close to call, he's got to say shoot it again. But Scott's over there talking to President Mike Tyrell.
Well, that's it just seemed like the angle of Remington's arrow kind of almost laid across, like it went in and kicked.
Right.
And the arrow kind of pushed that direction, but
It turns out that Kyle Douglas' arrow was a 1/16 of an inch closer.
There we have it. Kyle Douglas, a 1/16 of an inch closer.
So we'll give him another bonus ring, and that makes Kyle our champion. Congratulations. We'll now go to the award ceremony.
Wow.
Wow.
I was speechless there for a minute.
Yeah,
Nathan.
no doubt. I mean, we've done this a long time, and I don't know that I've ever seen that close of a call.
That's crazy.
And it was a bit confusing, but we got a winner out of the deal.
Yeah, we did get a winner out of it. So we're going to get Kyle Douglas over here and get him into the headset. We lost our wrangler there, but here he comes.
Kind of got preoccupied there for a second. But
Kyle Douglas, what a finish. Tell us about that.
That was a little crazy way to end it, but, I just stood up there and made the best shot I could, and, whatever happened, happened.
Yeah, killer shot and your shoot down. Now tell us about your shoot down. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, because you came out here gunning for bonus rings and you were hitting them.
Yeah, I just got super aggressive. I like to just rip the bow in half and get as aggressive as I can. And I didn't shoot it as good a shot as I would have liked to on the first one, and that kind of lit a fire under me and shot a little better from then on.
Well, so I've watched you shoot for a long time, so one of the things I would say is that much like I've heard Tim Gillingham talk about, you're kind of a momentum shooter. Mm-hmm. And when you get that rolling for you, it's a hard train to stop. So, dude, fantastic shooting on the weekend. I don't know what to say other than I expected it. But, it's a great accomplishment again.
Thanks a lot.
Great round, Kyle. Congratulations. Big win for you here at the Easton Hoyt Pro-Am. Congrats.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is going to do it for us here at the Bossier City Civic Center. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. For Nathan Brooks, I'm PJ Riley, and we also appreciate Big Cat Steve Anderson's help. We'll be back in about a month. We're going to head down to London, Kentucky. Thanks again for joining us.